new, cheaper Tesla Cybertruck has been revealed. Speculation on price, though, and unfortunately not for the US market, but I'm going to show you a couple different things where we could easily expect this Tesla Cybertruck, this cheaper rear wheel drive Tesla Cybertruck, coming to the US later this year. So a cheaper, new, lower build type of Cybertruck has been revealed in the Saudi Arabia market, the Middle East market. It's not for the US just yet, but it does give us a little bit of insight on if and when this Cybertruck rear-wheel drive version comes to the US, because we kind of know we've already got a little bit of a sneak preview that it is coming to the US, what type of specs we could actually get for this Cybertruck. So Tesla has unveiled a new long-range rear-wheel drive Cybertruck variant, 350 miles of range in the Middle East website. The truck is 517 pounds lighter than the all-wheel drive and also sees a new set of 18-inch wheel covers. And so there's a couple of things with this and a couple of things I'm not necessarily happy with. I mean, I definitely wouldn't want a truck in this type of build, but maybe this build, this exact specifications could be changed for the US market, and certain options would be different for our market. So hopefully that's fingers crossed. So let's talk about it. So 350 miles of range, that's perfect actually. 7,500 pounds of towing. Weight is 611 or 6,117 pounds. Ground clearance is 9.5 feet versus 16 or 9.5 inches versus 16 inches for the all-wheel drive. So that's quite a bit shorter. I guess this is definitely more of a city truck than like an all-wheel drive type of truck. 0 to 60 in 6.6 seconds and a top speed of 111 miles per hour. But this is the biggest kicker that I'm not necessarily happy about. And if I had a choice, I don't know if I would be buying this truck. It appears that the rear-wheel drive trim has no air suspension based on the much lower ground clearance. Also, the range numbers on the Middle East websites of the Cybertruck all-wheel drive and Cyber Beach trims match exactly to what the EPA range is in the US. So it appears the EPA range on the rear-wheel drive will be 350 miles when it launches in the US. And this kind of makes sense because, to get the Cybertruck cheaper, they do have to remove some of the contents and everything. I heard rumors that maybe like no power tonneau cover, no outlets in the back, but this is an interesting one that if it does not have air suspension, I guess I'd rather have no air suspension and definitely have like the rear four-wheel steer with the steer-by-wire. I mean, that's definitely more of a impact of type of feature, especially for a big vehicle like the Tesla Cybertruck. But air suspension is a very interesting one because it's a big vehicle, and when you're going over bumps and other things like that, air suspension does add a lot more comfortability with the vehicle. And so I'm not sure, but this could be one thing, because I imagine like this vehicle gets produced in Texas and then shipped all the way to Saudi Arabia in the Middle East. So maybe that's why they took off the air suspension, because of weight and production and all those different things. Maybe it could mean that the US version will still have air suspension. Fingers crossed on that one. But at 350 miles of range, I mean, that's pretty nice. It's a lot higher than like the all-wheel drive at 325. And rear-wheel drive is an interesting as one as well, because I guess if you're having a truck, you want all-wheel drive. But I guess if you're having a truck in like California or hot areas and you don't need the all-wheel drive, maybe the rear-wheel drive could make a lot of sense. I don't know. Let me know. Would you buy a truck that didn't have all-wheel drive? I guess it depends on what area of the country you're actually in. Here are the three types of rims in that market. So we've got the core rims in the middle, which are essentially one of the most efficient. Then we got the bigger rims with the cap on top as well. And then we've got the newer rims that are brand new to this on the left side. And we're calling it, we don't even know what it's called, I guess, because we got the core rims and the Foundation Series rims on the right side. We've got a new launch video of a Cybertruck. Looks to be driving almost close to a cliff. This kind of looks like it's AI, right? I mean, I guess it's got to be real, but looks really cool to see in the Middle East type of launch, which is UAE, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia for the Tesla Cybertruck, the new one. And so now let's talk about what price could this actually be and what type of different things, because we know it's potentially coming for the US. We know this because if we take a look at fueleconomy.gov, which is the federal website that talks about 7,500 federal tax credits and things like that, we can see that the Cybertruck single motor is listed on this page 2025, and it does qualify for the 7,500 federal tax credit as long as the MSRP build is under $80,000. Tesla submitted it to this website. It appeared on this website, I want to say like as early as like the end of last year. And so Tesla's been planning for a rear-wheel drive Cybertruck to get released on the US market for a while. So the question is, when is this going to be coming out? And if we follow other markets, like how China gets the Model Y a month before the US does, maybe the Saudi Arabia, Middle East markets or Saudi Arabia get it 1 month before we get it. And so maybe now we talk about like what type of pricing this could be. Austin says, I say it's going to be 59,990 before the tax credit. The fact that it's only rear-wheel drive but also no air suspension and no rear screen means that they intend to make this maximally affordable. Quote, I'll caveat my prediction with this. I think price cuts across the board are coming. It wouldn't be surprised me if they introduce at 60K price before making cuts everywhere. Exhaust demand at 60K price for the rear-wheel drive, then make the following adjustments, all excluding the tax credit. Long-range rear-wheel drive, 49,990. Long-range all-wheel drive, 62,990. And a beast for $80,000. I mean, that would be pretty crazy if the prices go that low, but maybe with scale and maybe with the demand that the prices need. I mean, if you can get a Tesla Cybertruck for 50K before the tax credit or after tax credit, whatever it may be, that is a huge amount of value of vehicle for what that is. I mean, that's essentially Model Y prices right now, or pretty much. So my question to you is, would you buy a Model Y or a Cybertruck rear-wheel drive? And if you've been shopping or looking to buy a Model Y, like what if a Cybertruck rear-wheel drive is plus or minus $10,000 above what a Model Y, a new Model Y would be? Would you just try and wait, save some more money to try and get a Cybertruck? Which, I mean, maybe that could be what we're about to see in the near future when we get into like quarter 3 or quarter 4, because all hands are off when it comes to quarter 4 in terms of deals, discounts, incentives, and I bet we see some crazy discounts and deals when we get to December, and maybe even a cheap Cybertruck. I personally, think, or if you remember when the Cybertruck came out in terms of the pricing, like a couple of years ago, like a year ago when the real pricing actually came out, it was actually Beast for $100,000, all-wheel drive for $80,000. Of course, the all-wheel drive qualifies for the 7,500, and then long-range rear-wheel drive for 60,990. And so that was before the 7,500 federal tax credit. And so if we take these prices as posted on the screen, and if we assume that you're going to be qualifying for the 7,500 federal tax credit, then your adjusted price could be 53,490, which is pretty insane because, well, we've got like the Model Y right now after the tax credit at like 41. So basically $10,000 more, give or take, maybe like $11,000 to $12,000 more. You could get into a Cybertruck if and when this vehicle comes out, which is pretty crazy to think about it if you think about all these different things that in terms of models, new models coming out. And I mean, this could be that more affordable type of vehicle that Tesla could be rolling out in the near future, because technically it is more affordable. But yeah, going back to how it does not have air suspension, a little bit of a huge drawback for me, but I guess I'll have to wait and see once these actually get onto the road, once these are being delivered and everything. Maybe I should just hold my judgment until I drive it and see if it's more comfortable or not, because I gotta say, the new Model 3 and the new Model Y, with it out having air suspension, it's pretty darn comfortable. But of course, those are smaller vehicles, they ride a lot lower. Being in a big vehicle like a Cybertruck with how the mass and everything, I'm pretty interested to see how this non-air suspension, just the springs and coils, to see what that bounces and everything like that, because that could be pretty bad. But very interesting time as Cybertruck inventory starts to hit new highs on the used side. Fun with numbers posted this. Another new high for Tesla Cybertruck listings on CarGurus, which is used ones. People can't seem to dump these fast enough. And the other day we talked about that Carvana quote in which they're trying to buy Cybertruck Cybertrucks for $54,000 to $56,000. So they're trying to get ahead of the depreciation, and Cybertruck seems to be depreciating at luxury values like other Teslas, but which is about 50% in 2 years. And so that's why I kind of say, like, if you're unsure about Tesla, you're not long on buying a Tesla or holding a Tesla, a lease is a great option. You get it for 2 to 3 years, get your feet wet, your depreciation is locked in. You basically know how much you're going to lose because it's the lease payment, and that is it. And so that's got me thinking, like, maybe the next one, we should probably lease it. And check out this concept photo from Teslanomics. What if a Cybertruck came in black diamond? But of course, this is like a juiced up black diamond with more sparkles in it. But certainly, I mean, if they started to add some color, but I guess they do have colors with like the wraps and other things like that. But let us know what your thoughts on it. Let us know what you're thinking. So you've been shopping for a Tesla recently, but the monthly payment has probably got you rethinking your budget. Instead of sacrificing and cutting back on a brand new Tesla and getting your dream car, why not save on your monthly phone bill? And that's where our partner Mint Mobile comes into play here. We've also been thinking about getting a new Tesla, and constantly I like looking at our bills, monthly subscriptions, trying to see where we can cut back. Things like Netflix, YouTube Premium, and much more. And that's where I've been able to save on my monthly phone plan by going to Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month, and you can get high-speed data and unlimited talk and text on the nation's largest 5G network. You can bring your own phone along with your current number and existing contacts. It's really easy to switch service thanks to digital eSIM cards, which most of you now have. You can sign up and activate immediately right on your phone from the comfort of your home. If your phone doesn't have an eSIM, Mint will ship you a new SIM card for free, and it only takes 15 minutes. As you guys know, we've been traveling a lot pretty recently, so using Mint Mobile's mobile hotspot with our laptop has been pretty crucial and a game changer. So if you want to save money without the sacrifice, go to trymintmobile.com/DennisCW, also linked in the description, to get premium wireless starting at $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan. Thank you to Mint Mobile for partnering with us, and let's get on to the next topic.